How can I relate this? There we go.
Good morning, guys. How
Good
you doing?
morning, Paul.
Hi, good morning, Paul.
How you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Good, good.
Doing good. Yeah.
Every time you come on, Paul, and I see this PDD, I want to ask why.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just lazy to change it. To be honest, but yeah, it was a nickname, from. I'm not trying to promote P Diddy's, but it was a nickname my friends gave me a long time ago.
So I figured.
Oh my! So he stole your nickname.
No. Actually, yeah, they just because my first name is Paul, they just shortened it to instead of calling me Paul, P Diddy. It was just kind of like a friend thing. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not promoting P Diddy. So as a matter of fact, I just got lazy. I'm trying to. I think once you put the name in, you can't change it, or can you?
I don't know.
Yeah, because I finagled with it a little bit to try to find out how to change the name, and I just kind of gave up, to be honest. But yeah, if someone knows, yeah, I'm not trying to promote that.
Yeah, when I first started, I used my confirmation name reader, and then because I was testing, there's so many spam whatever. You never know with the internet. I didn't know what this was. If it was to put my formal name, and then afterwards, when I went to change it, it still had Rita on there. I'm like, okay, whatever.
So you were able to change it on here?
I changed. Yeah. And
how did you do that?
No, hold on. So it's sort of tied to your the Google email you have open. So before you log on, make sure that the one that has your formal name is open, your email account. And when you then click on Meet, it will take that.
Oh, okay. I'll try that.
Always make sure that the email address that you want it to borrow your ID from is your formal one, the one that has the name that you want to show.
When
you do that,
because I do have my thing open before I open the meeting, but it's still not it's still not grabbing that.
Oh no, no, it really?
Yeah. But I'll play around with it.
Play around with it. Even before outside of our meeting. Yeah, because I've noticed that it did that. If I use some other email address, because I have email addresses to test out stuff so that I don't get bombarded by all the companies who are trying to steal data or broker data or spam you. Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for joining. I see people joining. Not sure if Marissa's going to be here this morning, but if not, I'll pick it up and we'll continue on. So we'll give it a few moments. Has anyone taken the exam recently, or passed, or attempted it, or planning to take it here before the holidays?
Not me.
No.
Yeah, I feel like I still have a long way to go.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I took the advice from the last meeting and I slept on it. I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and go right after the new year and just get scheduled. I need the pressure. I'm not working right now. I've got the time, so I'm just gonna.
Oh yeah,
Also-
yeah. That's a major advantage because that's I don't know how. I mean, I started studying when I was working, but it's this material for me. I could not keep up at a well enough pace and work a full-time job at the same time. It'll take me forever. It would have taken me forever, you know, to get to a point, you know. But that's just me. You know, people are different. So, but yeah, I would say use that downtime to your advantage, because that's what I did. I just poured everything into it, you know, while I wasn't working towards this, and you know, this took up a lot of my time. So definitely. And scheduling a date, again, I think it's per individual, but I think that kind of holds you more accountable. It's kind of like signing up for a gym membership. Well, maybe that's not a good idea because people sign up and don't use the gym, right? People sign up for the gym and don't use it. So maybe that's not a good example, but can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, maybe that's not a good idea. But yeah, I think signing up for the exam and setting a date kind of helps to hold you accountable.
Well, if anybody, Claudie, wants to do even a daily, I'm game. Like you, Claudie, right now I'm not working. I took advantage of my company's layoff, and it took a while for me to figure out what I wanted to do. And I said, you know what? I'll just go ahead and knock this out. So Claudie or anyone else who's willing to do even if it's daily, yeah, feel free to ping me.
Okay, Rebecca, I'm in too.
Okay, please. Yeah. Being able to, I use my husband as my to bounce ideas off of as I'm studying to make stuff stick. Just I think who was I? Annette. Yeah, Annette was one we're talking earlier about how if I don't have a reference point, I have to sort of sound it or be active. I have to do an active studying. Just passively reading is just not cutting it for me. So if anybody else wants for us to do more than just the usual meets twice a week, please let me know.
Yep. I'm working right now, but I have like I have freedom in my schedule, so I'm good.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Matter of fact, I wish I would have done that when I was there. I probably would have passed it the first time around. Is your husband in the field as well, Rebecca, or you just kind of bombarded with him to ask you questions?
Sorry?
Is your husband in the field as well? Because you said you use him to bounce the stuff off of. I mean, you don't have to elaborate. I'm just wondering if he's like a good.
No, he's not a cybersecurity person. He,
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah, he does content management type work. He's a DBA / Documentum administrator.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Well, he does have some kind of relatable thing.
and he's been in IT longer than I have. Just
Okay.
loves his own area. I didn't. My foray into security is kind of being pushed into it by management. First, we had Enron issue, and then I was the one working with the external auditors, even though I was a DBA. And then when I started working government contracts, to keep their ATO, I got pushed into helping the compliance team, just because my manager heard that I had experience somewhat with security. And then when that contract ended, I said, you know what? I've been doing security every time. So they're not letting me focus on my databases or middleware stuff. I'm going straight into security. And so my last job was as a senior vulnerability engineer. However, our job got sent to India earlier this year. So I took the break and then finally decided, you know what, I'll do the CISSP and get that over and done with.
Gotcha. All right, guys, we're if Marissa joins, we'll just let her take over. But we're going to go ahead and kick this off. For those of you who were on Tuesday's study session, if you see the same questions, I'm sorry, but this is to cover both people who are joining internationally with different time zones. So I'm going to cover the same topics that we covered on Tuesday. So if anything else, it'll kind of help it stick for those of you who kind of were on Tuesday's call. But I don't want you to think like it's just us repeating the same thing. But the Tuesday calls, if some of you guys remember, is more for people that's in the US and in the general same time zone. And I think 2 sessions were created to cover people who join internationally who are in different time zones to help accommodate them. So those same questions that the same study group information is going to be covered on Thursdays. Now, again, once Marissa joins and she's leading the class, she'll probably most likely have a different format on what it is that she's covering. So just a little tidbit there. Okay, let's see who we got here. And anyone new joining, we'd like to join. Thank you for joining. I'm familiar with some of the names. If you're new here and you want to give a quick spiel and introduce yourself, feel free. The floor is yours. Claudia, did you just join, or I'm sorry? Go ahead, Kels.
I was just gonna say, this is like my third session I've been able to join, and I'm scheduled to test on the 18th of December, so I'm like within the 30-day range. Okay. And I really wanted to try to take advantage of the boot camp, but it just doesn't comply with me taking a whole week off of work. I work as a contractor, so it's just kind of one of those things that conflict heavily. So I'm just trying to get the different array of question opportunities thrown at me as much as possible. I've taken it once and I bought the little guarantee thing. And so I'm taking that portion and I just have to pass it because I have my career depending on it next year.
Yeah. So, if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been studying for it?
So I took it earlier this year in August, and then before that I probably did from February to August. I studied, but it wasn't consistent and it wasn't organized. Right now I have like a mapping of the materials that I use, from books to videos to like even y'all. And I just try to put in a certain like 3 hours a day leading up to the test.
Okay, that's good. Well, good luck. Yeah, good luck on your exam on December. My only advice is to keep hammering it, keep hammering away at it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you are added a lot of good resources to my plate of details. So I appreciate this group for that.
No problem. All right. Anyone else is new joining the group? The floor is yours. We'd like to give a little background and introduce yourself. Claudia, you're fairly new, correct? Do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yes. I'm Claudia, and this is my second session I had taken a probably a 40-hour course through the county here for CISSP. It had some really good resources, but I was also just finishing up my PMP, and I decided to just throw everything into the PMP, which I finished and passed last month.
Congratulations on that. Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm now picking back up the CISSP, and I want to get that under my belt. I really wanted to do that first, but just a scheduling conflict. So now it's just really just getting the motivation to, it's all about motivation and accountability and just getting back into that. My background is in product management, and I've done a lot of projects in the financial sector. So I've done contract work with risk, a lot of risk work. So I've got
cool.
background there. So I've kind of really, I see a role for myself there in banking or in software. So this really is a good fit for me. So I just want to get this under my belt, by the beginning of the year, and just look to see what career opportunities are there for me. So I just kind of need a swift kick in the butt and get back in that mindset. So it's really just getting into the mindset and getting the work done.
Gotcha. Well, yeah,
I'm glad to be here.
Good. Yeah, you're definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with CISSP and PMP. Coupled together. So that's definitely, that can only help you greatly going forward. So,
Paul,
yes, sir.
Is there, so when you get your CISSP, is there something that says like you've got to be in IT for 5 years or something? Like, is there some kind of requirement like that?
I won't say necessarily there's a prerequisite. I'm trying to remember, because I did read something about that you have to have a minimum experience in 3 or 5 of the domains. Let me pull it up and see here.
Yeah,
Correct.
it says, yes, you need 5 years combined in a couple of domains. And it doesn't have to be just working as a cybersecurity person, but take even a security guard. That's physical security. So you can slap that on. The 5 years becomes 4 years if you have a college degree. And if you also have any other ISC certification, I think it might shave 1 year off. So that's how to count it.
Is that for the exam, or is that for the membership?
For your what's the word now? So you take the exam. Basically, you take the exam, and then they have to do is that accreditation or something? Where somebody signs.
Yeah.
Somebody to vouch for you, basically, and they sign off that you have completed that level of expectations.
I have the information here somewhere, so I'll just shut up and.
Well, yeah, I've got the page pulled up here. It says candidates must have a minimum of 5 years cumulative full-time experience in 2 or more of the 8 domains.
Correct. So basically, you go through your work experience and see, okay, for instance, myself, haven't been, I have combined more than, I have about 16 years working IT, and all that time, I have SDLC, that domain 8, yeah. But obviously focusing on just my own silo databases, software development, and middleware application support, all the other things that they put out there or that wasn't useful for my work, I have to learn them now. However, I can say I have domain 8. As a VM engineer, both when I was as a full-time VM engineer and when I was assisting the compliance team. That takes care of 7 and a little bit of 6 for me. So that's 3 domains there. And as the example I was given, for somebody who, even if you weren't full IT, say you did security guard, somebody who did security guard, you already have 1 there. That's physical security. What domain would that fall under? I think that would probably fall under 7 for a security guard, physical security. So you have to basically, try to
actually it'll cover at least a couple of them, because asset security, security operations, that could fall under, that could span like at least 2 of them, because a security guard basically, although they're doing physical security, they're also, I would think, part of the asset security from protecting people from stealing computers, whatever, out of the building. So he's helping to protect assets, right? The company's assets as well. So I don't think it's just like security operations. So some of those things, when you look at them and break them down, you can use, common sense to say, such and such, but as the thing states here, must have a minimum of 5 years full-time experience in 2 or more. So that's even better. I thought it was more, that you had to have experience in at least 3 or 5 of them, but it's actually two or more of the domains, a minimum of 5 years. So that's even better. That would get more people to qualify, coming in. So
Awesome. Thanks for that context. That's awesome.
No problem.
Well, I have a question. When you pass, you can have a CISSP endorse you, or you can have them go through, and I don't know if it's a more rigorous process, but do you know the difference in the 2?
Yeah, go ahead, Rebecca.
So the way I understand it is, you in your network, if you have somebody who's an already endorsed CISSP, that person can do your endorsement. And if you don't, just like with the PMP, you just put all your information about what you've done, your experiences, and you send it to CISSP and have them review and endorse you. That's
Okay.
my understanding. Yeah, either your network or you let the organization ISC do it for you.
By the way,
Okay.
guys, on this same topic, on this same page here, it says that if you don't qualify for those, the 2 domain 5-year minimum experience, you can still take the exam, pass it, and submit to become an associate of ISC2, and qualify that way. But they have requirements for using that path as well. So it's not necessarily like if you don't have the experience yet that that you can't take it. It's just that you're going to have to follow a different path based on ISC2 and become an associate of ISC2. And then it says the associate of ISC2 will then have 6 years to earn the 5 years required experience. So everyone would fall into one of those 2 categories. So there's a path, if the minimum requirements are not there yet. So just wanted to put that out there. All right. If there's nothing else, we're going to go ahead and jump into this. Let's see. So what we do is, for those who are probably new to this, until I figure out more of the standard schedule of who's doing what, I'll better prepare. But I'm going to post some questions into the chat, and I'll give you a minute to answer them. I'll provide the correct answer at the end of that minute, and then we'll discuss as to what your reasoning was on choosing that answer. And then we're going to discuss it in the group to kind of help it stick as to why it wasn't or why it should be that answer. And I'll kind of move forward from there. All right, the first question is coming through. Stand by. All right, timer started. All right. Time is up. All right, Adam. Let's see here. Looks like everybody got that correct. Implementing RAID. Can anyone tell me the difference between business continuity planning and disaster recovery planning? Or does someone want to elaborate on that? All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So as you explained on Tuesday, I've made it stick in my head, and I have BCP as being proactive, strategic activity or task, and DRP being disaster recovery would be post-incident. So if you take that B and say before an incident happens, which task in this list happens before an incident? That would be implementing RAID. All the others are after. So B for before, BCP, before an incident, and anything else is DRP, disaster recovery plan.
Okay, that's one good way of looking at it. Does anyone else? Well, okay, so Labby, is that the way to pronounce your name, Labby, or? I'm sorry. Okay. Labby, you want to elaborate on that, on what you posted? A, B, C can work, however, B is the best. We can't hear you. I think you might be on mute. Okay. So the way I tend to look at business continuity planning and disaster recovery planning, as you stated, Rebecca, correctly, but I also look at it from business continuity planning, as you stated, like the plan beforehand, before something happens, the plan that's in place to continue the business operations. And business continuity, I look at more like a management type role or action. And disaster recovery, I look at more of like the technical part of it. What do you have to do to get the business back to what it was before that incident or disaster happened? So implementing RAID is telling you, okay, beforehand, we're going to put in a fail safes or a thing in here to, if something does happen, we have some redundancy in RAID so that it'll either help lessen the thing that happens and give us an opportunity to continue the business. Whereas if something takes out your whole system, including the RAID, the disaster recovery is the technical steps that you would do to get that system back and the business back up and running, if that makes sense. That was kind of a long-winded way. But so yeah, I would definitely say to make sure you understand the differences between the two, because that will definitely be on your exam. All right.
Yeah, what I would
go
add
ahead.
to that is, business continuity is what's the bare minimum you have to do your daily operations. And then disaster recovery is everything associated with the business. So if you can do some preventative, that's going to help you out with a business continuity.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And yeah, I like those words that you use there: preventative, upfront, so that you can continue the business. Because, for instance, if a business is impacted like severely and they're down, they're like critical parts of the business that would have to come up first, and all this is outlaid in a plan, right? You don't just bring everything back up at once. You have critical parts of the business that are like the core of the business that should come up first, and then other things listed after that are maybe not as critical but still critical, and then all the way out onto out until those systems that are not really as important, you bring those up last. I think a good example is if a business goes down, they want to make sure that that payroll somehow that they're able to get their employees paid, right? Either they have a backup system or they have some way to make sure that their employees are still paid. And on that note, what's the number one asset in a company that they make sure that is protected and is the first thing that they make sure is protected and accounted for? Who can answer that? Does anybody want to answer that?
If I'm not mistaken, the most critical asset that should be protected is personnel.
Exactly. And that will be on your exam as well. It's probably going to be worded a lot differently. They'll probably throw a whole scenario in there to kind of throw you off. But the bottom line is that people are your number one priority as far as safety and asset and everything else. So, all right, good deal.
Before we move on, I wanted to talk about the structure of this question.
Yes.
When you look at a business continuity plan, you look at answers C, D, and A, how they're all interrelated. So if you go to a cold site, it's either going to be, if it's cold, you're going to have to restore from backup tapes. You're going to, restart your business operations there. So A, C, and D will all be related. So, if you're implementing RAID, that's just going to be a continuity, a quick continuity. So bringing up your operations is going to be a lot smoother if you're just going to be implementing RAID. So it's going to be warmer. So A, C, and D are all related. So really B,
exactly.
We're going to be left, with
exactly.
an answer. It's going to be a quick hit. Boom. You're not even going to have to think about it.
Right. Exactly. Which is another good point. and I'm glad you brought it up because that's part of the strategy you have to go in with in the exam. As I mentioned on Tuesday, is that you have to have, at some point, you're going to be guessing. And if you can do a process of elimination, you know, of course, using, you know, an educated approach to do process of elimination, as Claudia stated, implementing RAID kind of stands out. A, C, and D are somewhat in the same kind of group because you're either restoring, restarting, and relocating, right? Implementing RAID stands out from those other three. And implementing RAID really isn't a restart or like one of those restore type deals. I mean, in some form you probably can, but in my experience with implementing RAID, it's kind of like a
Seamless.
yeah, it's seamless. It's like a hot failover, where it's kind of transparent to where it's, you know, it's not impacting the business. You know, if a drive fails, you know, they have those configurations where it just fails over automatically. You know, so these other ones require steps to bring the system back up versus RAID just doing a soft handover or a switch, if that makes sense. So yeah, definitely break these questions down, look for keywords and phrases, and kind of sum up the question to where you better understand it. All right, question 2 coming along. Let's see here. All right, question 2 is posted. The timer started. All right. Richard, do you want to give an explanation on why you chose D or what your reasoning was?
Because it is, what can I say, uncontrollable. You
Okay.
cannot control how many downtime they can face, but they can only guarantee, in the SLA, they can only guarantee how long they need to recover the case.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, looks like everyone else chose A. So the correct answer is A. And Richard, it's not necessarily that you're wrong, because some of these answers on the CISSP exam, a lot of the answers are going to seem close in being correct, but you have to choose the most correct answer.
Okay.
And so this exam is tricky. They're on every question, pretty much they're trying to trick you. So even the ones that look kind of easy, some of the ones that look easy, they're trying to trick you sometimes. But yeah, the answer here is A. So as I pointed out on Tuesday as well, if you notice, as Claudia pointed out, if you, in that previous question, if you notice B, C, and D kind of group together, right? And they all have the word time in there. Failover time, uptime, max consecutive downtime, right? Which one of the following is not normally addressed in the SLA agreement? So the only one that stands out is A, not dealing with time. Confidentiality of a customer info. Now, does that mean that it works 100% of the time? No. You know, that this strategy works 100%? No, but the majority of the time it does. And SLAs usually include stuff like this with the, you know, how much downtime and, you know, how much time it's going to take to get it back up, and you know, things of that nature. So just try and look out for stuff like that and kind of look for patterns, and practice taking these exams. You know, try not to get lost in the sauce of, well, do these look alike? You know, get into a flow of taking exams and timing yourself and using those strategies in a time sensible format, and move on, because this exam, the time is not waiting for you. So try and use your time wisely. Yeah, go ahead, Rebecca. You got a hand up?
Yeah, I wanted to say the other non-time related content of the SLA agreement include peak load, average load, and who's responsible for diagnostics.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah, per the OSG. Load, consideration for load, peak load, average load, and responsibility for diagnostics are the other three aspects in there.
Gotcha. Yep, definitely know these. All right, moving on to question number 3, getting ready to post that. And by the way, guys, like I said, don't feel thing to ask a question, because, you know, I took this exam 3 times. So, you know, so I did everything and anything. I asked questions, even if though, you know, it seems like it's something that I should have known. I asked questions and try to get that stuff to stick. All right, 3rd question is on its way. All right, timer started. All right, correct answer on this one is A. Looks like everyone got that one. So the question is, which of the following is not an attribute of a hashing algorithm? A, they require a cryptographic key. B, they are irreversible. C, it is very difficult to find 2 messages with the same hash value. Or D, they take variable length input. Now, I will say on each question, you have to determine whether this is a knowledge-based question or if it's a question where you can apply logic. Of course, still having some knowledge as well. But some of these questions, it's either you know it or you don't. So on those questions, I would suggest that you don't waste too much time on them, because it's either you know it or you don't. Like, it's, if you don't know what 1 + 1 = 2 is, you know, you don't know how to add, why are you going to waste your time on the question? Either you know it or you don't, right? So this kind of falls into that. Either you know what the hashing algorithm attributes are, and as you all seems to know, the hashing algorithm attributes are they are irreversible. It's very difficult to find two messages with the same hash value, and they take variable length input. And look out for those negating words or double negatives, where the word not is in there and things of that nature. Does anyone have any questions or input on this question? Okay, who knows what the term is for when two messages are found with the same hash? Anyone want to answer that? Go ahead, Annette.
Collision.
Yes, correct. Collision. So, all right. So this is another topic that I would highly suggest studying and understanding, or the hashing algorithms and the different lengths of the hashing values. And moving on to the other questions, stand by.
I have a question on the collision. Oh, the hash collision. Okay, because yeah. So forgive me. 3 and 4 are my weakness. My weakest. So I heard collision. It wasn't specific, and I thought, wait, isn't collision in 4? And how two distinct areas would have the same. I was trying to understand the difference, but qualifying it with hash collision helps. I was thinking.
Okay, got you. Oh, you probably were thinking collision of like packets or something.
Yeah, that's what okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So hash collision versus just collision. All right.
Yeah, sorry, Rebecca. I should have said hash collision. You're right.
Yeah. But yeah, you have to take into context what the question is asking, and yeah, definitely, because of course, there's collision in network traffic as well. Speaking of that, who can name the two things where that are implemented to help deal with traffic collision?
Is that what load balancers are for?
I'm sorry, say again?
Is that what load balancers are for?
Not exactly, but I mean, that's not like totally off the thing. Load balancers are more like to balance, well, you know, to balance the load of a network. Like you know, they may have and they're configured in different formats. You may have a load balancer configured to be, and I'm drawing a blank on the term right now, but to where it's active, or I forgot the other term. I'm just drawing a blank. But for the load balance, I'm sorry.
I said I can help with that. Now, I've not, like I said, networking is a weakness. However, from the technical standpoint, and having been a middleware administrator, what you're trying to do is manage capacity. That's what the load balancer is doing. Say you have an application. When we initially introduced it, you had maybe 500 people using that application. It was fine. And then the company had a merger and we're now 5,000 people. It was never built for 5,000. Your application will be crashing when everybody goes on it. However, a load balancer manages the amount of requests. So what it's doing there is, if a load balancer is put in, it means that there are several servers. So it rotates. Say 50 people come, that first 50 might be given to server A, server B takes the next and the next. So the load, the amount of requests is equally shared, meaning that the chances for the server to crash is minimized. That's from my technical understanding.
No, that's absolutely correct. Yeah, and sometimes it's like and I'm not trying to be thing here, but sometimes you can go to the name. It's actually it is actually balancing the load. But what I was trying to get at is that there different configurations of that, where you have like an active type configuration, or there's another one where it's just one of the servers are active, and if that server goes down, then it switches to the other one. So there's different configurations. And if anyone watched the Mike Tyson fight with Netflix, they needed some load balancers because a lot of people are kind of upset because the streaming content kept freezing. And I think Netflix has a lawsuit out because of that, because there were quite a number of people who weren't getting the content stream live, and it kept freezing. So they definitely needed more servers. They needed more content, on their content delivery network. They probably needed more servers like toward the end of the network to kind of deliver to their customers. So I'm pretty sure that they're kind of looking at that, because they plan on hosting more live events. So I'm pretty sure they're going to revamp their system to be able to support that type of load, when it does come up. Yeah, somebody raised their hand, Alton.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree. The other thing they should have done was test too, because you deal with so many, and I don't know if they may have tested it on. I think Chris Rock had a live. I guess they were feeling if they can do a comedy, they'll at least have enough to do a sporting event, which both of them are apples and oranges. And I believe they didn't test towards something that could bring more people. This, to me, I think will be more the tester for load balancing, because with the new live events coming on with Netflix, like WWE Raw and everything, that will help it out right there.
Right, definitely. Yeah, and look, I worked, for a major telecommunications company, so I dealt a lot in voice and data. And look, you can always plan and test, but for a major event, and it's funny because I worked in setting up that network at the AT&T Stadium there at Jerry World there in Texas. But the thing is, with testing, you can always stress test and load test and stuff like that for the best of scenarios. But sometimes when the actual event hits, it's more than you tested for, right? So either you're gonna overplan or underplan, for it. But the good thing about where technology is headed, especially with cloud, you have systems that can automatically adjust for that and have some elasticity that can provide more resources when the demand rises, right?
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, that stuff had to be planned out manually and have all those physical hardware in place to support that load. Now, the shift of where things are going in the cloud is going to become more elastic, and it could be on demand to where the loads and the demand is sudden and it increases. You have automation that can adjust for that and provide more resources to handle that demand. Now, whatever Netflix scenario was, I don't know. I don't know if they were, I don't know if it was, they didn't have enough physical resources, or I just suspect that they didn't have enough servers on their content delivery network, and it wasn't positioned towards the edge of the network to provide customers a seamless type experience. That's just my guess. So,
hey, can I ask a quick question around the cloud? So, one of my big gaps when I took my test the first time was I had material that didn't cover cloud education really well because it was, older material. Where would you suggest I could resource better things for those like test space of information?
You're trying to find out where you can get more information on studying about the cloud?
Yeah, because some of my resources are a little dated, like they're not the newest ones, and so I was like thinking like how much could it really change, but I guess I was wrong.
Oh, okay. I would suggest ISC2 has and I'm no expert in cloud, by the way. I just I'm fairly new in the cloud space, but I do know some. I don't specialize in cloud. I think that might be my next move, but ISC2 has a specific certification for cloud.
No, just for the test, because it was on the test.
Oh, for the test. Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone on the call have a good suggestion for Kels to get more information about the cloud? I mean, I would research online, to be honest. Let's see. Rebecca posted portal tutorials. Okay.
Yeah, because
let's check out that link, see what that looks like.
okay, I'll do that. I was just wondering if anybody had any gap filler, type resources for that space, because cloud is on the test, and cloud is a newer component than a lot of the materials that we have.
I have 3 resources for you for cloud. So initially I shunned CISSP because I felt it was mostly administrative stuff, and I lean more toward technical, and so think command line, those kinds of things, API, that's me. And so I didn't want to bother with the CISSP until, well, now I have the time. So I'm forcing myself to do it. I was looking at cloud certs. These 2 in particular, the first URLs I gave are very good. Tutorials Dojo and Learn Cantry. Cantry is Adrian. Adrian is sort of a bit boring, like OSG, but he's got good stuff. If you really want to learn cloud, Adrian is good. And another person to go to would be this guy's YouTube, Pete Zerger. He has a CISSP 8 hours boot camp, but his CCSP is also good. I'm not,
Okay.
I can't remember his, yeah, Pete Zerga YouTube channel. Just look him up. He's good.
I would
Yeah,
think,
I've seen his material, but thank you.
yeah, I would think Udemy as well. You could probably check out Udemy, and look for any cloud, courses
Well,
that they
honestly,
have.
I didn't want to dig into the whole concept too deep. I just wanted to know what I needed to know for the CISSP because I know that they adjusted the exam over the years since they've adjusted, and I just wanted to see if y'all had any, thing that pointed to just, yeah, but just for the test, you need to know this much about the cloud, because I was kind of caught off guard with that.
Okay.
Oh, your question is the Delta. What updates have been made? Destination certificate is this? That's your best bet. On their website, they have a link that shows you the previous version, the 2021, and this one, telling you the list of what we're supposed to study, what has changed. I'll shut up right now and find that URL and put it up here. You can look at it item by item and see what's been modified, what's been what's obsolete, and what's new. If that's what you're
Okay,
asking.
cool.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much. That's exactly my question.
All right, thanks.
Thank
Thanks, Rebecca. But yeah, added on that note as well, Kels, is as far as my understanding, I don't think there were major changes. Probably like a 5% change. But even with that, as far as the cloud, I wouldn't get too lost in the cloud because, as Rebecca stated, this is not so much a technical exam. Now, if you just want to know it, that's fine. But all the cloud information that you need to know would be in the official study guide. And to what level you need to know it, that would be covered in the study guide as well. So I wouldn't try to go too deep for right now. If you're just trying to pass the exam, I would just kind of stick to like the cloud information that's in the book.
Okay,
but if you want to
sounds
go,
great.
if you want to get a better, well-rounded thing, of course, by all means, research further. So.
Yeah, because I'm trying to stay away from going into too many rabbit holes of stuff.
Yeah, I would suggest that because the study guide has a whole lot of rabbit holes enough to for you to be adding rabbit holes on there. Trust me, but yeah, for future reference, definitely. All right, here comes the other question. If there's no other input here, it's coming your way.
I posted that link on the Kels.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Mm-hmm.
All right, timer started. All right, time is up. Did you guys post your answers on that? Or All right. So the question is, Susan would like to configure IPsec in a manner that provides confidentiality for the content of the packets. What component of IPsec provides this capability? A, AH, B, ESP, C, IKE, or D, ISA-KMP? The correct answer is B, ESP. So looks like everyone got that.
Can you provide more explanation, if you can, on the components of IPsec?
Yeah.
You don't have to
So-
if it's out of what you planned for today, but I remember the answer from our last meeting, but I don't fully understand it, so I didn't want to fake understanding by opening my.
No. Got you.
So if you can, yeah.
Yeah, let me grab my book here. This is not like my area of expertise. I mean, I do know like the high level stuff, but and as an added note, I know particularly that's why I chose these questions, because these are stuff that I know for sure is going to be on the exam. Make sure you know IPsec and the different AH, ESP, and different. Make sure you know it, because it will be on there. Matter of fact, I think there will be several questions on that in different formats. So let me call it IPsec here. Because to be honest, on the first exam that I took, I kind of glossed over it. I mean, I had some knowledge of it before, but I was like, oh, yeah, I know the general gist of IPsec. But yeah, I had to go back and get more granular and made sure I really knew it, and was prepared for the next exam that I took. Let's see here, 294, 295. So let's dig a little deeper on this. All right, so IPsec, let's see. IPsec is a standard architecture set forth by the Internet Engineering Task Force, blah, 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 blah. Okay. The IPsec protocol provides a complete infrastructure for secure network communications. IPsec has gained widespread acceptance. IPsec relies on security associations, and there are two main components. AH, authentication header, provides assurances of message integrity and non-repudiation. AH also provides authentication and access control and prevents replay attacks. However, ESP, encapsulation security protocol, provides confidentiality, integrity of packet contents. It provides encryption and limited authentication and prevents replay attacks. So there is some crossover between the two when it comes to authentication and replay attacks, if you guys notice that, right? But where they're differentiated is that authentication header focuses primarily on message integrity and non-repudiation, and ESP primarily focuses on confidentiality and integrity and encryption. So that's what differentiates them. Does that give a little bit more clarity on? Yeah, go ahead, Alton. Oh, okay. Got to drop. Rebecca, did that add a little bit more clarity to it?
Yes, as in, if I understand what you're saying, AH and ESP are the two cryptographic components in IPSEC, and AH provides both confidentiality and integrity, while ESP only provides confidentiality. Is that correct?
Somewhat. AH doesn't provide confidentiality. AH provides integrity and non-repudiation, primarily.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Bottom line, I need to go study.
And ESP, you know, another note that I would add for the exam is try and use things to remember. I look at the E in ESP as encryption, right? Although it stands for encapsulating. But encryption is one of its specialty, right? Encapsulating security payload provides confidentiality and integrity of packets. And how do you provide confidentiality? Encryption, right? It provides encryption and limited, notice it says limited authentication and prevents replay attacks. But wait a minute, AH also does authentication and replay attacks. So that's where they both cross over, but where they differentiate and specialize in is what you have to know as well. And that's what this question is asking, is what it says. It's asking what component of IPSEC provides a specific capability. So you have to choose the best answer. So for instance, I guess if the question were asked as if between AH and ESP, which of the two provides authentication and access control and prevents replay attacks? Which one would you guys choose? If the question were, once again, between AH and ESP, which of the two provides authentication, access control, and replay attacks?
Then it would be AH.
Okay, and why'd you choose AH?
Okay, hands for myself, the A, authentication.
Right, right, but ESP also provides authentication. It's not its primary purpose, but it also provides authentication.
Okay.
So what I'm getting at is that they both have crossover, whatchamacallit, but it's where they specialize in that differentiates them, right?
Okay, so yes.
I mean, your answer wasn't wrong. It's correct. I'm just asking you why you chose it.
Oh, okay. But what I was getting to right now is we're supposed to look for the one, even in a situation where two items lean toward the answer, you look for the one that does it the most.
It does it the best. Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yes. All right. All right, guys. Is there any more questions on this one? If not, we'll move on to the next question. Coming on its way. All right, timer started. All right. Timer's up. All right. So the question is, Paul is the chief privacy officer for a nonprofit organization and is assisting with the team's transition to a privacy by design approach. Under this approach, which is not one of the privacy by design principles that the team should embrace? A, proactive, not reactive. B, privacy as the default setting. C, end-to-end security. Or D, defense in depth. All right, so the correct answer is D. Looked like everyone that answered got it. So again, I would approach the exam on each question. Is this a knowledge-based question, whether I know it or not? Which this question is. It's either you know this or you don't. I think there's 7 principles for privacy by design. Off the top of my head, I think there's 7 of them. So yeah, I would suggest that you know, and memorize those, because they can ask this question a lot of different ways, and focus in on one or several of those principles, and they'll try to trip you up and throw other stuff in there that make it sound like it's one of the principles. So any input or questions on this question? All right. Gonna move on to the next question. Again, all these questions, each question subject matter, and based on why I chose them is because it's subject matter that definitely will be on the exam. So, I would make note of the subject matter of each of these questions, and make sure to know them in and out. All right, questions posted, timer started. All right, timer's up. Doing a security assessment of a wireless network, Paul discovers that LEAP is in use on a network using WPA. What recommendations should Paul make? A, continue to use LEAP. It provides better security than TKIP for WPA networks. B, use alternate protocols like PEEP or EAP-TLS and implement WPA2 if supported. C, continue to use LEAP to avoid authentication issues, but move to WPA2. D, use an alternate protocol like PEEP or EAP-TLS and implement wired equivalency privacy to avoid wireless security. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Questions like long-winded questions like these, I just don't like. And coupled with that, when the answers are long-winded as well, that even just drives me up the wall, because I'm like, you have to decipher not only the question, but you have to decipher the answer. So when the answers are throwing multiple different scenarios in each one, that can take some time. let's see. So the correct answer in this was answer B. Yes, Vincent, you're correct. You have to look at this twice, probably even 3 times. So another suggestion would be, who can tell me right off the bat one of these answers that you can basically just X off right away and reduce it to 3?
I would say A.
Let's see. Continue to use LEAP. It provides better security than TKIP for WPA. Okay, so why did you choose A? And it's, again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just trying to get you guys to start thinking as to why and why not you're choosing it. So go ahead, Annette.
I'm gonna say A, or maybe yeah, because they're all older technology, right? So
well, that's a good reasoning. Yes, that's a good reasoning, because WPA is not as new as WPA2, right?
yeah, because I mean, if I had the choice, I would use WPA2, and then you know, the APE.
Yeah, and again, that's good reasoning. But is there something else in the answers that's even older than WPA?
Yeah. The TKIP, I think they're not even used anymore either.
Okay, you see anything else in all the answers there? That's even an older and deprecated.
Even older than that.
Yeah. So
yeah, WPA, of course, deep.
Okay, so wired in the answer D, wired equivalency privacy. That's old, and that's deprecated.
Yeah,
that's
WEP. Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you were on the right track. So I would look for things like that that you can just X off right away. Once you see that, you're like, wired equivalency privacy. Yeah, that's been deprecated. That's not used anymore. So I can X that off.
Yeah, that's why I didn't pick D either, because of that guy too.
Yeah. So yeah, when you're looking at these answers to give yourself a better chance, is to kind of like eliminate things that for sure that either don't apply in this situation. So then we get down to 3 questions, which is going to be A, B, or C. And you have to have knowledge about the subject matter. And using that same thing, so WPA is an older whatchamacallit. So just say we got rid of A as well, that would leave B and C, right? Because B and C has WPA2 being used in there. So at least now you only have 2 to choose from, right? And again, you would have to know the knowledge of it to be able to differentiate. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Oh, yeah. So what I was going to answer was that LEAP itself, I believe, is deprecated. And just like Annette said, WPA is older. And for me, what I did here was shrink the question, recommendation for wireless network tech to replace these 2 in the question. And so scratching those out would mean anything with LEAP is out. So A is out. D, where's my? A is out. Then we're left with B, C, D. I can't quite see everything, but I don't see WPA in that. So if that's the case, then we have B and C left, and C has LEAP in it, which leaves us with just B.
Okay. I guess that's another way, you can approach it like that. But right off the bat, me going in, I would eliminate A and D because both of those are older, deprecated things that they used. WPA2 is more updated, and I'll be honest, LEAP. I got a couple of questions on all three of the exams that I took, and I kind of had to guess because LEAP, I spent time on it, but there's like 15 subcategories of LEAP. There's EPEEP, ETLS, LEAP, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'll be honest, I just got, at one point, I'm like, okay, this is, matter of fact, let me pull up LEAP here and see all the different variations of that protocol there is, because there's a whole lot of them. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to know this stuff. Let's see, 531. There's a whole bunch of LEAPs. And I'm not telling you not to know it. I'm just saying don't waste your time trying to know all 15 of them. Okay, so here we go. LEAP, LEAP, LEAP. LEAP, PEEP. 35. All the different versions of LEAP. Three. Yeah, so anyway, I couldn't find all of them. I'm not going to waste time looking for them, but there's like 15 different variations of LEAP. All right. Let's see here. All right, so we're at the top of the hour. Does anyone have any questions or input they want to put on the call, or something we want to elaborate on a question that was posed on the chat today?
No, thank you guys for the encouragement.
Yeah. All right, guys, if there's nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and close the call. And again, just I wish you guys good luck if you have the exam coming up, and just keep at it, man. I'm learning from you guys as well, and it's helping to make this stuff stick for me as well when I present this stuff on the call. But whatever insight or experiences I can provide to help make it stick for you guys, that's what I'm going to try to do. So appreciate it again, and good luck, guys. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Oh, everyone, I just posted
Thank
something.
you.
I posted
Yeah, go
something.
ahead.
Privacy is by design. That'll help you guys.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Annette.
You have a good day.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.